Hey guys, how's it going? This is Gerald with Real Estate Investing Tips for Beginners. So, question I received recently is, Gerald, how do I deal with a bad contractor? How do I deal with a bad contractor? So, my first experience with a contractor was, and you all can probably see it in some of my videos I did years ago, was a gentleman that actually owned Abracadabra Roofing. Okay, it's funny because that's exactly what he did with my money. He abracadabra made it disappear. And the funny part about that is this. He was a roofing contractor that told me up front, yes, 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 yes. And I went with him because he was the cheapest bid. In other words, he cost the least amount of money. I didn't have a ton of money. I had bought my first property in Victorville, California, did not have a lot of money for fix up and doing some things and rehabbing and needed carpet and all these other things. And so he came across cheap. Number one, if somebody comes across extremely inexpensive, I want you all to take that as somewhat of a red flag. Not all the time, but most of the time. What contractors do lots of times is they will bid a job low intentionally. Get into your property, start fixing it up, and then mysteriously begin to find problems. Okay? It happens a lot. It happens a lot. So you're in the midst of it. You have found a contractor that maybe was recommended, maybe not. And you have been dealing with this individual for several weeks and several months, and they just seem to be dragging their feet. They work not on your time, but when they want to work or when they choose to work. And it's very frustrating because you have a property that needs to get fixed up and rehabbed and worked on and et cetera, et cetera. And there's a lot of crooked that's out there. So how do you ultimately deal with a contractor? The same way I dealt with the first person. My first experience with that roofing contractor is this. I had to make a decision, and I had to make a decision to go ahead and let him go. Okay? I gave this guy, I don't know how many chances, and I stuck with him, and I stuck with him I stuck with him until the lies became so empty and they were so obvious, and I shouldn't even waited that long, that I had to go ahead and I had to cut my losses because that was a costly lesson. I had to cut my losses and go find someone else. So what did I do? Number one, the first thing I did was I asked for personal referrals from active investors that were in the area that actually had contractors and rehabbers working on their properties. That's the biggest investment. That's the smartest move I've ever made. And so I asked for personal referrals. And so I went through several people, about 4 or 5 people, found somebody, went ahead, finished my roof, and we got the work done. So this is a lesson for a lot of you in the beginning that are dealing with many of these shady contractors, okay? At a certain point, you got to put your foot down and you got to let them go. You have to. I understand that they're telling you things out of their mouth, but it's not showing up in their actions when it comes to the rehab work. I'm going to tell you this. Take my advice. Let them go. Let them go. Go find someone else. Okay? And the best way to do that is to go to your local real estate investment club and find someone who is actively doing real estate in your area and ask them who they're using and talk to that individual about completing your job. Number one. Number two, another great way to go ahead and to find a solid contractor is to find the biggest, baddest, nicest apartment complexes or apartment complexes in your area. I'm not talking about the 8, 10 unit apartment. Forget that. I'm talking about the biggest, baddest, nicest 2, 3, 400 unit multi-million dollar apartment complex in your area. Number one. Number two, I want you to go ahead and look up the address. I want you to find the management company. I want you to contact that management company. I want you to ask them, who do they use to work on their properties? Someone, the contractor or the company that is working on that property, the one thing that you have to understand is this. They don't want dirt thrown on their name. Remember, they're representing the biggest, baddest 50, 100 million, $200 million apartment complex in your area. Okay? In your area. And they don't want their reputation tarnished. So you need to get in touch with who's ever working on those properties and ask them, let them know your situation about your property. Okay? Lots of times, these people who do great quality work, they got a great name around town. And they also got a lot to lose in terms of reputation, right? Now, if they can't do it, they can refer you to someone who can. Okay? So, to recap, number one, find a personal referral, your local real estate investment club. Stop going to Craigslist. Stop doing that. Lots of times it don't work out, right? Number one, find a personal referral. Or number two, contact the biggest, baddest, nicest apartment complex in your town. Contact the management company. Ask the management company if they be willing to go ahead and put you in touch with the individuals that works on their properties, okay, in your area. And this will help cut down on a lot of the drama that's going on. The problem with contractors is this. You can have a contractor that does great work, and they've been doing great work for months, even years, and all of a sudden they get to your project and all of a sudden it just dies for whatever reason, right? So I don't have the 100% perfect answer or formula in terms of choosing a contractor, right? But if you utilize one of those two ways that I mentioned before, this will help you in finding someone who is trustworthy, okay? If you all have any additional ideas, some of you that are seasoned have any additional ideas as to how people can find trustworthy, credible contractors that do what it is they say they're going to do, drop that in the comments below, please. Anyways, guys, y'all found value in this video. Please click the like button, share it with family and friends. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have some additional links in the description, okay? You all take care. Have a good day.